Hi Business 20 team, it's Lisa. Hey, I wanted to reach out and clarify some things and also give you guys kind of a preview on next week's work and some hints on things that are going to help you with exam one that's coming up. So first, I have to say bravo to this class. You guys have done amazing on your writing. I've actually had a lot of fun reading and grading your writing because you guys are doing such a good job at your research and really posting thoughtful quality content in our class discussion. So I just have to say, keep it up. You're doing a great job. You're also doing a great job keeping up with things. I know that this is a crazy pace, and I didn't mean to come across harsh in the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure people were coming in with their eyes open that this is a fast pace. It's like we're running a 5-minute mile here. So I hope you're enjoying the learning. It's pretty exciting stuff. I do think that business, it was so fun to get to look through all your introductions. Business does really provide kind of the vehicle for you to take those things that you're interested in and passionate about and build your business around it. So it's so exciting to see what you guys are up to with that. Just one side note, if you're interested in building your business or in the process of doing so or wanting to apply these concepts to your business, another great class that's helpful is Business 25, which is small business management. In that class, you do a business plan, which is great for a business at any stage, especially critical when you're starting a business, but also when you're running one and trying to figure out how to improve it. So just a side commercial. Okay, so the update on the class stuff. The modules that are open right now are module 4 and 5. That's what you're currently working on. And that includes chapter 3 and all of the MyLab work for chapter 3 and your instructor's cafe, just like entrepreneurship discussion assignment for that. You also have in your chapter 4 module, I put the exam study guide for exam 1, just to give you a little extra time on it if you were able to take the time on that. And I'll touch base on the study guide in just a moment, but I want to finish out your module work for this week, which I'm covering. You guys are finishing up tonight, which is module 4 and 5. So module 4 is the chapter 3 homework, and then module 5 is actually one of the few, there's a couple of modules sprinkled throughout where there's actually 2 chapters in one module. So you will have I think there's 2 or 3 different times you'll have a week where there's actually 3 chapters. In that, so there were a couple of you that gave me a shout out because originally I had a typo on this that said do the My Biz Lab assignments for chapter 4, and it didn't say 4 and 5, even though once you got over into My Lab, the chapter 5 assignments were live and available to you. So what I wanted to clarify, so that was a typo on my part. So since there was some confusion over chapter 5, I'm going to extend the due date on chapter 5. In fact, I already have in my lab to June 29th to next Monday. I'm going to extend it a full week. That said, if you can get through chapter 5 tonight or, super close to tonight, I would recommend it because we have an action-packed week next week as well with your first exam and some chapter work. So it's the more you can get done. So chapter 3 and chapter 4 for sure due end of day 6/22 Monday. Chapter 5 if you can, because it'll make your life easier next week. But if you can't, I have extended the deadline in chapter 5 for a week because basically there was a typo on my part right there on the My Lab link. Okay, so that said, I'm going to pop back up here. I did, like, Lisa, why did you post the exam 1 study guide in the week and module 4? Well, let me show you the exam 1 study guide. So you do have your first exam coming up this next week. It'll open at the end of the day today with your next week's work. Now, my exams are multiple choice true false. They are focused on the business terminology that you've been learning. A big part of the job of Intro to Business is to teach you the language of business, which is all the terminology. There's quite a long list. So on this exam, it is a closed book, closed internet exam, but I will allow you to have open notes. So I will allow you to have your study guide work in front of you to reference because there are, 77 terms related to these 5 chapters. So I would, if it was me studying for this exam and I've given you the recommendations here, there are 2 actions I would take. The number 1 top priority I would put on is this list of terms. I would copy and paste these into a Word doc, and I would do my research to pull up the definitions of each of these and familiarize myself and work my way through that list this week. And then take the exam towards the end of the week. So that would be my recommendation. You can also familiarize yourself with these terms by going back and clicking DSMs, which are called the digital study modules. Those are those kind of like online smart flashcards that are part of your MyLab homework. Those are available to you after the fact to click through. And I can make a separate video just on how to access those DSMs for studying, or the digital study modules for studying. So there you have it. There's the study guide. Now let me, so that was the, let's see. That was for module, let me get my, so module 4 and module 5 is what I just kind of closed out on, which is your homework that's due end of day today. So the top line review for that is that chapter 3 and chapter 4 are still on deadline for tonight, Monday 5/22. Chapter 5 has been extended by 1 week to, 6/22. June 22nd, not May 22nd. And chapter 5 has been extended by 1 week to next Monday because of my typo. That said, I would encourage you to do it tonight. The other things I highlighted was the Exam 1 study guide, how I kind of opened that up early in case you guys happen to have time. I know it's a lot of work. Hang in there. You guys are doing awesome. Okay, so what's coming up for this next week? So module 6, what you'll see is you do have exam 1 in module 6, but I have eliminated all of the other homework for chapter 7, which you also have in module 6, so that you can focus on the exam. So I have told you to read chapter 7, but you don't have any homework due for chapter 7. You also have module 7 due next Monday, and that includes chapter 8 and your regular weekly work on chapter 8, which is the MyLab work and a written assignment. That said, there's not a discussion involved in next week's assignment. So you don't have like your first discussion post, which is typically due by Friday. You don't have that. The written assignment for next week is an individual written response, so you can do that anytime before the due date of Monday 6/29. Okay, so just again, and 2, at the beginning of your work module, I have this checklist. So if there's ever anything that's on the checklist that you don't see open in MyLab, or that is open in MyLab but not mentioned on the checklist, I'll only hold you responsible for what I've put here in the checklist. So make sure you check that. So modules 6 and 7 again next week. So just to reiterate, you have exam 1 in module 6, which is chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 chapters, about 10 questions apiece, and then you have your study guide there. And I've asked you to read chapter 7 because chapter 7 is included in the next exam, so it is something that you need to know and to study. And the the DSM, or the digital flashcards, will be available to you for chapter 7, but no other work for chapter 7 is required or graded. So I'm asking you to focus on the exam. But you also have module 7 due within this next week, which does include chapter 8, reading that, doing the ByBizLab work for chapter 8, and an individual written response assignment on that. It's just related to motivation. So hopefully you find that fun, because you've kind of got exam 1 to do, but then you have chapter 7 to read, and then chapter 8 to read and do the homework on. And chapter 8 is all about motivation. So I hope that gives you a good kind of injection of motivation in the middle of the progress of all of this work. So again, I just really appreciate your effort and investment in the discussion posts. You guys have done an amazing job, and keep chugging away at the work. I know it's a lot of work. That's part of why I included all those emails at the beginning that warned you of that. I just wanted you to come in with your eyes open, and but I just want you to know that you're doing a great job. I'm here, and if you have any trouble along the way, please shoot me a message. Because of the pace of this, it makes it really hard to offer extensions or exceptions or whatever, just because the next week the work just keeps rolling. So hang in there, but please do reach out for help and know I'm on your side and cheering you on this adventure. Take care.